headline numbers, they're actually better than what we estimated, because revenues have come in at $1,207 million. Even though it's a sequential decline of 6.3%, it's actually better than the 8.4% decline that the street was estimating. So can you take us through the quarter and also the deal wins? Because you mentioned a very healthy deal pipeline also, sir.
So clearly, this pandemic was a surprise to all of us. And in this pandemic, when we originally reworked the numbers, we were prepared for a larger decline. But to me, the best part of this quarter's results is we have been able to demonstrate our agility, demonstrate that we react well to crisis. Number one. Number two, despite of the fact that my revenue is down by 6.3%, I have continued to work on my operating margins. And number three is our cash flows. Our free cash flows are better than ever before. So I think that agility is what gives me the confidence that we are better prepared in this quarter. We will continue to focus on cost management. We'll continue to focus on better performance by some of our subsidiary companies. We will continue to invest for the future. And more importantly is that we do believe that the company does know that while the setback may last through calendar year 2020, but it can become better from now on.
Right. Just a word on the telecom and communications in particular, sir. A lot of interest on the 5G rollout, the opportunities that you see there. And even this quarter, you mentioned out of the total deal wins, a significant part of it came from communication. So can you take us through that, Mr. Gurnani?
Chandra, 5G continues to be the very, very important part of our strategy. And it is not only for telecom that we have successfully delivered Rakuten, and now it is an operational working 5G solution. I think makes me feel very, very happy and good that we are working with communication service providers. We are working with an enterprise business. We were even offered that we could do a solution for BSNL. So it just gives you that the company has invested well in 5G technologies and is ready to look at some of the opportunities. So I think again, network services, though was impacted because you have to remember it's a field engineering solution. Not many people were stepping out, but network services and 5G will remain part of TechM Next, and we have started calling it TechM Next now because even internally, what we call as being agile today in front of you, my main message to my teams is today.
Right.
TechM Next now.
Right. Mr. Bhat, I'm just going to come to you on the margins, because contrary to expectations of a EBIT margin decline, you've actually managed to expand margins to 10.1% EBIT margins for the quarter. So can you tell me what were the metrics, or what kind of levers helped you, and are you confident of sustaining that in the coming quarter as well, in the next quarter as well?
So I think, Chandra, if you look at margins, clearly, obviously the biggest drag was the fall in demand and some of the supply side constraints in some of our businesses. So as we went through the quarter, I think clearly work from home as a percentage has gone up beyond 90%. So which obviously means that it's positive for margins. If I look at the elements of each element of cost was carefully examined, and we did speak about certain the top management voluntarily and the middle management voluntarily took some variable pay cuts. Obviously, travel costs were much lower. We looked at efficiencies across the spectrum. So that's helped a lot in mitigating some of the margin drag from the revenue drop. Obviously, compared to last quarter, we had some currency benefits flowing through because the rupee did move a bit. That was also helping. And what I'm really happy about is typically, if you look at our quarter one, it's a seasonally weak quarter because our Comviva business goes through a swing in this quarter where there's a revenue and margin drop. Despite that, we have been able to maintain margins in this quarter. So a lot of things coming together at once. To me, as I see it, I think it might be our worst quarter this year in terms of margins. Our goal is to try and focus on improvements as we go along. And that's going to come from a combination of obviously automation, working towards more offshoring. If I look at our offshore percentage, it has gone up by a percentage point in this quarter. So multiple things coming together. CP did mention portfolio companies and how do we synergize and make sure that we can drive efficiencies both on the revenue and cost side. So all of those will start helping margins as we go forward.
Right. Mr. Gurnani, compared to the first half of the year, how are you seeing the second half of the year? Is there more visibility now in terms of the clients, the spends, the verticals? What can you tell us about the rest of the year, sir? And a follow-up question: if I look at all IT companies, the top 5 IT companies this quarter, the percentage of employees working from home continues to be over 90%, 95%. So is this going to continue? For the rest of the year as well? Will it come down? What are your own thoughts on this, sir?
So Chandra, let me take the last question first. The last question is that the government of India has allowed us to work up to December. Tech Mahindra launched a solution called mHealthy, where we do antibody testing of each and every person coming through our doors into our offices. We not only do antibody testing, but we check for a lot of other parameters. So in a lot of ways, what we're trying to do is continue to make our workplace safe for work. At this stage, only 5% employees are coming to work, and 95% are working from home. Chandra, a lot depends on when the vaccine comes in and when people will be able to, react and feel, it's all a risk management as well as, but the new normal has got defined and the new normal is hybrid. So the fact is that, Chandra, most of the rented buildings where we had, we have already given notices to surrender those rented buildings.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Right. The next question you asked, Chandra, was the second half. Since we never give a forecast, I'm not going to change my policy. But I did share with you that 4 months ago, the budgeting exercise that we had done internally, we had taken a little pessimistic scenario. We are aware that the global economies will continue to, fight this challenge. But because the solution lies in more technology, more digital, we are feeling a lot more confident than what we were feeling 4 months ago.
Right. That's great to know. Manoj, final couple of questions. A quick update on pricing. Are you seeing any pressure as far as renegotiation is concerned? And finally, another trend that I've observed across all 5 IT companies is the sequential decline in net addition in terms of headcount numbers. Is this because of less hiring or because the onboarding got delayed to second quarter? What factors would you attribute to this?
Let me pick the second one first. So which is about the headcount, right? So headcount, of course, you're right. I think the hiring has slowed down dramatically, and we have also had a tail effect of some of the attrition from the previous quarters, which will come through in Q1. We also had our performance appraisal and other cycles going through at the same time. So you have seen a small decline in headcount, which it's about 2,000 people, I think, across IT and BPO. So that's something which is part of normal business, I would imagine. I think your first question was around, sorry, what was the first question?
Pricing and renegotiation.
Yeah, on pricing, I think what we are seeing is, of course, there have been certain verticals where they have been impacted far worse than others. And we have seen some of the customers come back, and we have worked with customers in try to reduce their total cost of ownership. The good part is that, of course, these are limited period arrangements or adjustments, whatever you want to call it. And from my perspective, that's something which is not a material impact so far. And that's something which what we have also been able to do is look at from a perspective of a holistic picture on the engagement, including what offshoring, including work from home, and all of those elements come into some of these discussions.
Right. On that note, Mr. Gurnani and Mr. Bhat, thank you very much for talking to us on ET Now on your earnings. And here's wishing you the best for the rest of the year. Stay safe and take care. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Chandra. Thank you so much.